From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
Evenings, LALATE is back as America waits the stimulus check to land in bank accounts again tomorrow. Millions of Americans received their stimulus check on Friday. More got them on Saturday. And others will get them tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the big test of which banks across the country will release the stimulus checks. Others have said they have the check but aren't releasing it to the 17th. So what's going on? I'll explain all the details when you're getting your stimulus check by direct deposit on Evenings LALATE. Then I'll be going over the shocking developments coming out of the White House Friday. Surfacing today is a major report that says on Friday the President of the United States called for the extension of the child tax credit lifetime. This would mean that children would get all the way up to age 18, $250 a month for 18 years. While millions of Americans wonder where their FPUC retro is, where their SSI and SSDI $200 a month is, and where their hazard pay is. Is the president going too big and too bold? And what is Wall Street thinking as the 10-year Treasury note continues to surge? Is the surge too high and too quick? As tech continues to fall in the pre-dawn trading before the markets open tomorrow morning. I have all the big, great breaking details as Evenings LA gets underway right now in its major return tonight. What a big day it is. And millions of Americans await the arrival of their $14 third stimulus check by direct deposit tomorrow. Is this you, or would you be receiving it on the 17th? And what is the significance of that 17th? Thank you for joining me on the return of Evenings LALATE. How are you? It's a big day, and I'm so excited you're here. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe, because your original favorite, the original show of this channel is back, Evenings LALATE. And tomorrow morning on Early Mornings LA, that's back as well. Now at 4 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time in the morning. Thank you for joining me. And if you've also not become a member, consider becoming a member. The link is at the top of the chat and also in the description to this video. And if you've not liked this video, consider liking it. It really helps in the algorithm rankings. Throughout the day, I covered a lot of discussions about the arrival of the stimulus check by direct deposit. And let me go over all the breaking details right now. First, who will get the electronic receipt of the stimulus check this week or as early as tomorrow? 3 groups. 1, if you receive your benefits for SSI, SSDI, Social Security, or Railroad benefits electronically and receive it electronically every month. This is you. Number 2, if you receive your first or second stimulus electronically, this is also you. Number 3, if you're a person who filed a 2020 tax return early and it's already been accepted, that updates your bank account information electronically, this may be you. Of this last group, it's a 50-50 shot at the moment. We really don't know, and we've had no anecdotes about the situation. Now, one of the bigger situations that may be clear is if you use an online tax preparer, one of the majors, and they always pay you, they paid you the first or second stimulus check on a card, then you will get this one as well. Congratulations. Now, over the last few hours today on LA, I've gone over a lot of the confusing narratives that have circulated about the stimulus check. Some have been hysterical, some have not been hysterical, and I'm going to go over all the folklore and the urban legends. First, the stimulus check is being sent in different times to people based upon their last name. Untrue. Stimulus check is not being sent out at different times electronically. Rather, there was one push on Friday. That push from IRS was the phase 1. All electronic disbursements occurred on Friday. All electronic disbursements were received on Friday by banks. Some banks have reported releasing the funds to viewers this channel, and those are anything from big banks to small banks, credit unions to apps. They've all released funds to viewers on Friday or Saturday. No one released funds on Sunday because it's not a bank processing day. And more released funds on Monday. So why are some banks releasing funds on the 17th? Why the 17th? Unclear. It's just a date they chose. Understand this. 1, they have the funds now. 2, they've elected to choose the 17th. 3, there's no way to change that date if that's what your bank is saying. If your bank shows processing already, that's good news. That means they already have the funds and they're about to release them. Every bank does processing a little bit differently. It can be 24 hours, it can be 48 hours. How about would it be longer than the 17th? It absolutely could. Some of the banks that say the 17th could actually mean the 18th, or they could mean the 19th. Not particularly clear why the 17th date has come to fruition. Along the lines, we've also gotten some strange questions about, is my stimulus check being held up because of this? Questions involve things like Social Security, or railroad benefits, or veterans benefits. People have asked, is my stimulus check coming out with the other veterans checks? No. The push of the stimulus checks on Friday were for everyone. They didn't push for some people and not push for veterans. They didn't push for young kids and not push for seniors. They pushed all the disbursements on Friday. The release of the funds is just dependent on that one factor, who you do business with. Along the lines, a lot of people have asked very confusing questions about the access to the funds in the account. If you see the funds in the account and they're there, take them out. They're yours funds. If you see money in the account and it says cleared, go and take it out. If you know someone else in your household that has access to the funds, then they have access to the funds as well. How many checks will you be getting? It's supposed to be up to a family of 4, but some viewers of this channel have reported getting 6 stimulus checks for their household. Yes, $1,400 for each person is the stimulus package. If you're adult dependent, you will not get the stimulus check. It'll go to the person who you are dependent on. Now, if something has changed in your livelihood in the last 24 months or in the last time since you filed a tax return and IRS doesn't know it, then that won't be fixed. An example, someone you newly got married to in January of this year. If IRS doesn't know that, they still think you are a single individual, so you won't be getting your spouse's check. Those sort of obvious situations are at hand. But along the lines, we've seen some peculiar questions about other stimulus checks. And ultimately, here's what we know. Stimulus check is coming in a wave of first direct deposits. Then there will be a wave of paper checks. Those may start as early as next week. And that wave of paper checks will involve also direct deposit cards, debit cards that will be mailed in slightly different envelopes. The debit cards will be in white envelopes, whereas the paper checks may be in beige envelopes. Finally, one of the biggest messages I always tell viewers is between now until you get that stimulus check, every time you go to the mail, do not go through the mail quickly and start throwing things away. IRS, the second stimulus package round, certainly sent a lot of viewers stimulus checks by paper check when they expected debit cards or direct deposits. And people were surprised and in some cases threw away the check. You do not want to be throwing away a $14 stimulus check. And needless to say, people will be doing that. So my message to you is that some people may expect to receive a direct deposit, but it may come by paper check. Finally, if you have a bank account that is closed, there's no way to fix it. IRS will attempt the closed bank account and then send it by paper check. Things like online filings, the non-filer filings, the IRS tracking tool, and the IRS transcript, I'm going to go over in a second. And boy, I got more about the stimulus checks and their arrival. But let me cut over to the breaking developments on Wall Street. Wall Street will open tomorrow with a lot of turmoil. The turmoil involves the 10-year Treasury note. It remains relatively high. The 10-year Treasury note is currently at 1.61, but could be heading to 1.64 again. Currently in after-hours trading, the Dow futures are up 319 and the NASDAQ futures are down 112. What is the reaction across the board to this market as we go into Monday's opening? Well, this statement was made by Robert Conzo. I think the story is becoming very clear in the tech sector. We have incredibly high valuations and yields that have tripled from the lows last year. Meantime, Ralph Presser says higher rates, less dovish central banks are now considered to be the single biggest threat for risk assets. And the IRS, of course, is in the equation. They issued a statement overnight, and that statement said this: even though the tax season is in full swing, the IRS employees, again, worked around the clock to deliver your stimulus check to you. Tech is taking a beating today. Microsoft and after hours trading is down $1.25 at 235. Apple down $1 at 121. Walmart up $2 at 134. And then we got Tesla down 6 at 693. Meantime, what is going on with this strange statement out of the White House to pay people money every single month till they're 18 years old? This is perhaps the scariest implication of what the market could see on Monday. The White House, in a series of conversations on Friday, supported a legislation being proposed by a Democrat that would take the child care tax credit of $3,600 or $3,000 and make it a lifetime law. What does that mean? That would mean that everyone from newborn to age 18 would get $250 to $300 a month for 18 years. The big question is where the White House would get that money to pay for it. There is nothing in this economy to pay for something like this, and it would require higher taxes. Ultimately, the president's statements, if they continue to go mainstream, because there was a series of on-the-record comments about the news article, may cause massive jitters to the Wall Street. What I'm imploring to you is the important thing. A rising Treasury yield of 1.64 is a concern. If the Treasury yield goes higher to 1.7, expect a market crash. If the Treasury yields go faster, higher, quicker, expect a substantial market crash that could take down tech and a flight out of tech into cyclical stocks. Moreover, anything damaging like the suggestion that the U.S. government would be paying people $250 a month for 18 years, an enormous spending idea, may take everything a different direction and take a downturn on the economy as well. Ultimately, the White House has a lot of questions to answer in the fourth stimulus package. The fourth stimulus package is getting a push from Democrats in both the House and the Senate, asking for reoccurring stimulus checks every month, $2,000 a month until the pandemic ends. This would be a lot more money than ever FPUC, Hazard Pay, or SSI, SSDI was ever to pay. This would look like about $12,000, a lot more money than $2,400 of SSI, a lot more money than $10,000 of Hazard Pay, and a lot more money than $10,000 of FPUC retro. This is a really incredible push that a lot of viewers would be excited about because all viewers would qualify for it if you made less than $75,000. Over the weekend, a lot of this fourth stimulus package heated up. On broadcast news, Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, appeared to discuss the fourth stimulus package. And while her discussion was talking about provisions that you may suggest are infrastructure-ish, the bill is taking a lot of different forms. Some call it the infrastructure bill or the climate bill, but it's still the next stimulus package. And Pelosi spoke about the bipartisan need to get the bill passed. We'll look at everything. We'll look at the tax code. We'll look at the appropriate process. We're looking at bonding. Building roads and bridges and water supplies and the rest has been bipartisan and has always been bipartisan, said Pelosi when appearing on ABC's This Week. But nonetheless, we hope we'll have bipartisanship. This is job creating, which creates revenue that comes back to the Treasury, unlike what the Republicans did in 2017, where they gave 83% of their benefits to the top 1%. Pelosi went on to say that her idea would be not as expensive as what Republicans propose. But Republicans appeared on broadcast news this weekend and disputed. Among them were Wyoming Senator John Barrasso, who said that he'd like to see non-bipartisanship on infrastructure, but the Democrats have ignored his ideas. He said we came up with a model in the subcommittees of the Senate and the Senate for a Highway and Transportation Program. But I've talked with the Secretary of Transportation and that this is the model we should move forward on the next bill. Getting something like this is not particularly easy. And if the president wants to fund $250 a month for 18 years for children, but not fund other things, there's a big question. And that question started on Friday. A Politico report today indicated that the president was on the phone when listening to Representative Rosa DeLauro, Democrat out of Connecticut, who has introduced the legislation to make this permanent. She said, we've moved forward on these issues and we're ready to move forward on these areas of support. On that call, Biden was said to have said, listen to Rosa DeLauro and to do what she's saying. Apparently, Biden is posed to make that $3,600 permanent for children. Other people came on the record talking about it as well, and those included Richie Torres of New York today. It's fair to say the child tax credit is the most consequential but the least controversial provision of the stimulus package. But does America need to be spending that type of money right now when millions of Americans need for stimulus? Let's go over more about what's happening with your stimulus check. $14 stimulus checks will be landing more tomorrow. If you have a bank that has not indicated what date it's releasing the stimulus checks, or credit union, or FinBank, you may see that stimulus check land tomorrow. There's no particular organization of when it lands. It could land in the start of the day or the middle of the day. What is the best way to know if you're getting the stimulus check that day? Asking other people who shop with that bank if they got their stimulus check. If they did, yours would likely land the same day, either in the same part of the day or the same part of that morning. Then, the other thing to understand is that even if you don't see the stimulus check on Monday, you may see it on Tuesday. Some banks may process it on Monday, but hold it for an extra day. The holding of a stimulus check for a few days or a few moments is all dependent on internal bank policies. It's not something you can change by speaking to a bank directly, but it is something you can change by switching banks in the future. Coming up, I'll have more about the arrival of your $14 third stimulus check and more about what's happening tomorrow on fourth stimulus. But stay with me with first a little commercial break about the community page. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. It's a big day with a lot of exciting details, and this is the return of Evenings LALATE. Thank you for asking for its return and the return of Early Mornings LALATE. Both shows are back on, baby. They're back here on LALATE. And if you've not subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also like this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. The link is at the top of the chat and also in the pinned description to this video. You're going to see tomorrow more stimulus checks arriving for $14 stimulus checks. But what if yours doesn't arrive? Or what if some of them arrive, but not all of them? What do you do? Let's go over those details. First, if you are a head of household, you should be getting a single check for everyone in the household. That household size is supposed to be 4, but we've seen some go up to 6. But what if there's a household of 4 and you only get 2 checks? What do you do? And what happens if you don't see a stimulus check? When should you be concerned? First, it's too soon to be concerned. You would need to wait about another 2 weeks until you be concerned about any direct deposit not arriving. But the bigger issue is, what if you do get a check and there's a missing check? So far, there's no instrument that we know of other than a tax return to request a missing stimulus check. IRS has not given a guidance if the third stimulus check can be requested in the 2020 tax return, but presumably it can. That would be requiring a refiling of that return. Let's turn to the IRS tools. The IRS tools cause a lot of confusion and a lot of concern, and I expect it to continue tomorrow. That concern stems from the following. There is a non-filer filing tool that people used in 2020. It no longer exists. If it worked for you in the past, good. It is not available anymore, so you can't use that as a tool to fix anything going forward. Next, if you go to the IRS My Tracking tool, it generally does not work. If you get benefit out of it, good. But if you see something that confuses you, understand it generally doesn't work. And it causes a lot of confusion because it doesn't work. Here are examples. It doesn't show that you're getting a stimulus check, so you presume you're not getting one. No, it just doesn't work. Or it shows the stimulus check went out 5,000 years ago, and you presume it's lost. No, it just doesn't work. Same thing with the online transcript tool. Here's what to know. It doesn't work. If it doesn't work, presume it doesn't work. And needless to say, I expect that to continue tomorrow. What started this weekend was a series of comments by Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen. She appeared on Sunday News to talk about where she thinks this economy is going. This is quite important because ultimately stimulus is gauged upon reaction of the White House. Is the White House's policy that there will be no more stimulus unless this or unless that? Well, Janet Yellen's comments were reassuring. She said that basically, until we have full reemployment, we're not changing anything. I'm hopeful that if we defeat the pandemic and we have the economy back to full employment next year. And is this the package that we need to do that? We don't know. Well, Yellen's comments are reassuring, basically saying that she will stay on top of it until reemployment of everyone is at issue. The reemployment numbers are very keen. Across the country, there's 8 million jobs missing. We're only generating 300,000 jobs a month. So that would take 16 months until we're back. Yellen also told News, is there a risk of inflation? I think there's a small risk, and I think it's manageable. But there's temporary movements in price. I do think it's a significant risk. And if it materializes, we have certain tools to address this. When she said the word tools, it may have reminded you of this person, Jerome Powell, head of the Federal Reserve. He used that same comment just a few days ago as well. He, like Yellen, are Treasury individuals, are Federal Reserve individuals. He is the current head of the Fed. She is the former head of the Fed. And her claim to use tools if interest rates get out of control or this economy grows too quickly mirrors that of the Federal Reserve. All very good news for purposes of stimulus. Basically, if we need more stimulus, we will continue with more stimulus. If unemployment continues to not rebound, which it has not, we will get more stimulus. And if the economy grows too quickly in some regards, we will fix it, but we'll still have stimulus. So forced stimulus remains a big issue. Also big issue, the 10-year Treasury note. Also a big issue, unemployment. And finally, the last big issue is those comments by the president on Friday that he may want to fund massive relief to children under the age of 18 for 18 years of age. What will Wall Street react to the news tomorrow morning? I'll have all those details tomorrow. But for now, join me tonight as Evenings LATE continues, of course, with our favorite chatterama, our Chattapalooza, which is Hazard Pay at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And then join me tomorrow morning with our all-time favorite lineup, EIDL. The EIDL grant is back, and that show is at 3 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 o'clock Eastern, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 30 minutes later is FPUC. And then at 4 a.m. on the West Coast, 7 a.m. on the East Coast, early mornings LATE. Thank you for staying with me, and thank you for watching. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. And stay here as Evenings LATE continues tonight with Hazard Pay.